Hey everybody, welcome to Ben's Blades. Today we're going to take apart and rebuild this knife right here. This is the Spyderco Lil Native Knifejoy exclusive pink in S45 VN. So I have a pile of Ripp's Garage Tech upgrade parts. So we are going to do something. I have a decision to make that I haven't made yet, so we're going to have to figure that one out here in a second. In any case, here it is right here. The Spyderco Lil Native. This is the pinkest knife I think I've ever seen. I mean, seriously, look at this thing. It's so pink. We're going to make short work of that, though. I bought this just because it was an S45 VN, so I always knew I was going to get rid of this pink at some point or another. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of this pink. Going to get rid of the pink. All right, let's do this. Let's close it. Let's do a function check. It's not quite dead center. It's slightly favoring the right side of the knife. We have no up and down or side-to-side blade play, and we have a knife that is drop shut. It won't drop completely shut, because in order for you to squeeze the compression lock, this part of the knife right here, the end of the finger choil, will actually drop and hit your finger. So there really is no dropping it all the way shut. Just FYI, for those of you who don't own a Spyderco Lil Native but you're thinking about it, that's that. Okay, I think we need T8 and T6. So let's go ahead and get those. T8, and I'm not going to use the T6 that's in there. I'll use the T6 that's right here. So let's go ahead and start taking this thing apart. Spyderco Lil Native. It's a tiny knife. It's a... holy crap. It is Loctited apparently too. It's a small knife. It's definitely, I would say, around the size of a Benchmade mini bug out. The only reason I say that is because the Benchmade mini bug out was a recent knife that I was heavily involved with and had it heavily taken apart here on my table. This was the Mac Tools mini ratchet, for those who are curious. What's this? That's left over from the mini bug out project I just did. Okay. I've been doing a lot of knife projects back to back to back. They kind of go in segments or in spurts. You know, I just do a bunch of them when I'm in the mood, and then I'll go for probably a month or two or three without doing anything at all. That's just kind of how I am. Are these all going to be like that? I'm going to keep this out and just kind of break all of them loose. I know we're going from steel screws to titanium screws. That's one of the baggies we have here. Let's take this one. It's basically a... Are we free spinning? I think we are free spinning. That's unfortunate. Oh, no, we're not. We're good. This knife, more or less, is just a smaller version of like the Sage or the Para 3. And of course, a smaller version of the Spyderco Native, but the Spyderco Native, I'm pretty sure, at its core, at least the original version, is a backlock. Or a lock-back design. And that wanted to just fly apart on me. That's kind of crazy. I could feel it trying to come apart in my hands. So, there's that. Okay, let's get this thing the rest of the way off. Those were tight. Holy crap, those were some tight screws. Okay, Now, let's see here. That needs to come off the rest of the way. It is a very interesting pivot. There's no like, there's not multiple parts. It's just, there's this line through the middle that I think is really interesting. This machined sort of groove. If I can get that to focus. Anyway, interesting. Okay. Washers. Got the washes. And that's the lanyard barrel. I am almost positive. Holy crap, Loctite dust everywhere. Okay. Pull this the rest of the way off. It's interesting. It's just like, yeah, you can have a little native in S45VN if you want to. If you want to, you can have it, but you gotta get a pink one. You gotta get a pink one, motherfucker. I just think that's devious. It's smart marketing, but it's devious nonetheless. Okay, well, there you have it. I'm not going to break these. I don't break G10. I break Grivery, polymer. But G10 is to be respected. Okay, I need white rag and the Slip 2000 725. And we're just going to wipe down the remaining parts. They're not even all that dirty. This knife hasn't been carried or used practically at all. It's been sitting around waiting for this upgrade. So, for whatever that's worth. But, you know, you got to set that baseline. So we'll just get everything to a baseline state of cleanliness. Those are fine. I'm not worried about those. Okay. Now, what do I do? Do I go full man whore and do just like a full-blown titanium build, or do I do white G10? Both of these are Ripp's Garage Tech, by the way. What do I do? This makes my brain hurt. You know what? We're going full man whore. We're going to do the titanium scale. It's going to be the little bittiest titanium knife I own. So let's go ahead and work on that. I seem to have a habit of getting titanium scales that are smooth. There's no like ripples or etching or kind of any kind of a rough surface for you to really plant your hands against. It's kind of a slick sensation going on. Okay. All right, before I forget, let's do AeroShell. And we will just put a little bit on the detent, as well as the detent path. So it's on this side. It's kind of hard to see where the detent path is. Maybe I'll leave it alone and see if just putting a little bit on the detent ball, that should be enough, at least for now. Because if I don't know where to put it, I'm not trying to just slather grease all over everywhere. That's not a thing I necessarily want to do. Okay. Now, put this right here. And get the titanium screw set. This right screw set? Lil Native, yeah. And we've got T6s and a long pivot screw. Well, I guess the other one is like that anyway, so it just kind of is what it is. I'm just looking to see if there's a right and a wrong way to do this. I'm not thinking so. It just kind of goes in like any other pivot. Well, we'll find out. If it ends up being a longer video because we have to learn a lesson, then I guess we'll just kind of find out. This does have me curious, though. Or no, was that the pivot screw, or was that the... no, that wasn't the pivot screw. That was the pocket clip screw, which looks like this. So I'm thinking that this bushing right here kind of is going to fit down in there like that. I'm thinking. I don't really remember. I guess I should have paid better attention. Okay, let's go ahead. And take a screw. Making sure I'm putting the right one in the right place. And we're going to take this screw and screw it down right here. I do believe this is a T6. No, it is a T8. Ooh, that almost ended badly. I need to just learn to just keep the blades out of the way. I have almost really messed up a blade a few times. One of these days I'm going to do that and it's going to piss me off. Alright. So that's kind of fitting on there a little tight. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and put the pivot on. If I were smart, I would look this stuff up before I did it. But, alas, I really don't. Just putting a lot of ALG Go Juice. That's this right here. And now I kind of need to see. I need this up close to see how it's a flat-sided pivot, so that means it has to go in a certain kind of way. So let me just, oh yeah, it's got to go in face down. There we go. Just put a little bit more oil in there and let it kind of creep wherever it wants to. Now, the blade, actually no, before I do that, I should probably put the pivot screws on. I feel like I'm going to be missing screws. No, I'm not. I'm wigging out. I think... Did I put a screw in here that's too long for that? Let me take this out again. I'm wondering if I put a screw in there that was meant to go somewhere else. I'm going to take these slightly shorter screws and try to put them right here. No, those don't fit. Okay. So I'm not crazy. This screw needs to go in here. It just, I don't know. When you're not reading any kind of instructions or looking at any kind of videos that somebody else did before you do this, it's going to take longer and things are going to kind of get wishy-washy. Okay. Put the blade on. No, it needs... It needs the pivot screw. Wow, I am not with it today. We'll get there, though. We'll be all right. Spydercos are just kind of one of those knives where there's a right and a wrong way to do it. And you might have to mess with it to figure that out. There we go. Put a little bit of oil. Put the phosphor bronze washers on, a little bit of oil. Now the pivot barrel is going to be interesting because it kind of has to go on like this with the pivot bushing going through it. So I'm going to take this pivot bushing and kind of push it, press it, whichever you want to go with. Don't try to say both at once. I'm going to try to push it through the bottom right there. And it looks like it's tight enough that it's just going to stay in. So I shouldn't have to worry about it falling out. Okay. Now this is the part that's going to get interesting. Because I think as long as the knife is fully in the open position, this shouldn't be super difficult. At least you would think. But then the Spyderco, which one did I just do? The Sage had, I don't want to say fitment issues, but it had, I definitely had trouble getting that knife, all the parts to snap into place like they really needed to be. Because it was built to such good tolerances. And I think this one ended up being a little bit easier. It's not going to be centered because we have to tighten down a bunch of other screws. But let's go ahead and try to get this thing together. And now I realized a place that I messed up is I really need to push this bushing back through. Probably with this. And I'm going to try to keep it perfectly level. And then this damn pocket clip has to go on. And then the bushing has to go back in. I really should have put this thing together differently, but we'll see if we can not have to take the scale off again. Okay. So the flat side of this bushing has to face to the rear. Ooh, and it just went in without any trouble at all. Sometimes things just go according to plan, no matter how much you try to screw them up. Okay. And that would explain why that is compression fit. Why is that sticking out so much? Is that the pivot screw? It might be a pivot screw. We're going to try, because it was sticking out, it wasn't perfectly flush. So maybe the pivot is, because I seem to remember on the Sage that the pivot screws on both sides were equal length, versus this one, it looks like is, no, it doesn't go in all the way. Very interesting. People who know this knife are probably screaming at their screen right now going, if you would just fucking do this, you idiot! Yeah, I know. But I want to have a learning experience on camera. That is so weird. You know what? I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to look this up just to make sure I know what I'm doing. 1 second. Yep, I've got it backwards. I need to take this screw out, and it needs to go on the other side. And the pivot barrel needs to go, not the pivot barrel, but this bushing for the lanyard loop, or I don't even know if I would call it a lanyard loop. It's just kind of a barrel that protects the screw as it goes to the other side. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. As you can tell, I haven't a clue what I'm doing. If you're looking for practical advice on how to put this knife together and take it apart, you are much better off getting that from somebody else, somewheres else. It's a little loose. I can feel it. That's not reassuring. Why is it so loose? And that doesn't really go any tighter. Okay, now it's not so loose. Okay, let's tighten everything else down. For a second I was getting scared. I was like, oh my god, is it like gonna be rattly because it doesn't get tightened down like it needs to? But you really had to tighten that thing down like crazy hard. Okay, let's check out what full man-whore looks like. And we are not centered. See if that's just a matter of tightening everything else down. Closer. It's this one right back here. It's like, it needs to be just so damn tight. And it's still almost kind of drop shutty. I wonder if I ought to mess with it a little bit, just see if I can get it centered. This thing right here, I swear, is... No matter how much I tighten this down, I can't tighten it down enough, and the scale is just loose. Well, if the Benchmade mini bug out wasn't a lesson that that knife projects don't go according to plan, this one definitely is. I mean, functionally it's fine. It's just not quite dead center, and I don't know if you can see this. The scale is just loose. I don't know if tightening it down that much more is really smart, but let's see if there is more tightening to be had. I don't know why it would need to be so damn tight in order to lock everything down properly, but no, I don't think it's going to matter. I think that's a separate issue that I'm going to have to take care of some other time. Loosen that up just a bit, since it's not really going to affect anything anyway. I don't need it tightened down quite that hard. We got no blade play. It's not quite dead center. And the blade actually kind of looks like it's in there not perfectly straight. I don't know if you can see that. There's a wider gap on this side than there is on that side. I really hope I didn't just get a bad set of scales. I want to take this pocket clip off and see if maybe that is the problem. At least the problem that's making everything loose is the fact that it's a pocket clip that really just has fitment issues. Let's put the original one on. See if that helps anything. Yeah, see, and now I no longer have that play in the scales, and so this is not a working part, which is unfortunate. Right then, so what I ended up doing was I took the clip that was originally intended for this and put it on the Spyderco Sage that I just did on camera a couple videos ago, and this fits perfectly. There's no wiggle or play in the scales, and I actually find it to be more ergonomic. It fits better in the hand. It doesn't get in the way as much. Meanwhile, this Lynch Northwest pocket clip that was just on here, there's no play in the scales for this one either. And as far as ergonomics, I mean, it's fine. It's not terrible. It's not great. It just kind of works. So I think that will just have to be how things go. But there you have it. A little bit of a impromptu size comparison too, by the way. The Spyderco Lil Native up against the Spyderco Sage 5. Well, here we go. This is what full man whore looks like. I've probably said that 5 or 6 times at this point on video. I don't know. There's a lot of things in this video that had to get redone. So But there you go. That is a wonderful, teeny tiny titanium tank of a knife. Feels great. How are we doing on centering? It's actually about as close to dead center now as it's ever been. If I can get it to focus. I had to play around with the screws a lot to get it into this state, but seems fine now. It's good enough. Definitely good enough. Okay. There it is. Spyderco Lil Native S45VN in man-whore titanium. Oh, man. You guys are going to get sick of me. I just know you are. All right. Questions, comments, put them in the comment section of the video. Otherwise, until next time, this is Ben from Ben's Blades telling you, carry a knife everywhere you legally can. I'll catch you later.